10% of the hunters kill 90% of the game. The 10%ers do whatever it takes to get the job done by legal means. They go do the extraordinary. They go try things. They don't just go sit in the tent and hope a turkey walks by. It's a mindset. It's an attitude. It's that drive inside you that makes you do whatever it takes to get the job done. You see a turkey, you go after it. I mean, this goes into deer hunting as well. Certain guys kill more game than the rest of the guys. And it's because of that mental attitude, that go-get-em attitude. We're the 10%ers. I had a lot of challenges this season. I lost a lot of my hunting ground for turkeys. A lot of it have been built up on or beside, and some of the public land that I hunted got sold off. It is no longer public. A couple of the properties I hunt have already been pounded by other hunters. I knew it was going to be a tough season, but I'm up for the challenge. My turkey season started on Wednesday, and I had to work Wednesday. So after work, I called up a friend who has a lease that's just full of turkeys and asked him if I could go hunt turkeys on his lease. And he kind of hesitated and he said, "Dan, I'm going to give you one day. You can have tonight, this evening." I said, "Okay, well that's better than nothing, right?" So we raced over to his lease. Hey Dave, how does this look?
This is awesome. The whole ground's covered with feathers and turkey bowl.
I think we found a roost tree. I think what we'll do,
Look at that pile.
I know, there's a pile of crap here, turkey crap. I mean, there's a couple of them that are just unbelievable.
Feathers everywhere.
I think we're right underneath the roost, and we gotta go to the top of this hill where they're gonna launch and fly up to get into these trees.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Get up on the edge of this field somewheres. We found a little bit of cover on the edge of the field and set up where we spooked two toms upon arrival. Called a little bit. I had some distant gobbles answering me, but the toms that did come in came in silent, and they came in from below and silhouetted us against the sky when we moved. So I knew it was a bad setup, and we still had a little bit of time before the birds kept coming back to roost. So we decided to scoot down the hill a little bit and set up. It was a little more open, a little harder to find cover, but we got set up down there. I heard a couple twigs snap and knew a turkey was approaching. And I figured he's up ahead about 100 yards, and I motioned to Dave, got the camera turned on, and as I turned on the camera, I heard a putt and looked over, and he was a lot closer than I thought. He was only about 25 yards away. And there were some trees in the way there, and he came in a way that I didn't see him through the trees. So then he spooked and took off, and I could have shot him at 25, 30 yards as he ran off, but didn't want to. Let him go. And that was it for the night there. I was really thinking this would be a lot easier in that spot if I would have been in a blind. It would have been done that night. The next evening after work, Dave was going to meet me at my house. So he shows up and I'm getting my stuff ready. And when he closes his truck door, what do we hear? a gobble up the street. And it's funny, or ironic, I haven't heard a gobble in my front yard all year, all spring. Hear a gobble when he closes his door. So the gobble came from some public land down the street, so we jumped in the truck and headed over there. And what we found was a big tom, all by himself without a hen, which is what you're looking for, sitting in a field. So as is usually the case, setup would not be easy, getting in there wouldn't be easy, because the tom's looking at the road, just grass from us to the tom. So we devised a plan, went down the road a ways, and circled the whole area and came in from the back side into timber and up this hill. And at the top of the hill, just as we crested, we set up, about 100 yards from that turkey and out of sight. That is, if he stayed there. So the key to those maneuvers is you really got to move fast and think fast, because you don't have time to discuss a plan too thoroughly. You need to get there and get set up, because that tom's going to wander off. He's going to go someplace. And once he's gone, then you got to be in the direction he's going or pull him back. So time is of the essence. So we raced over there, got set up. I thought we got set up pretty clean. And I hit the call. And the tom answered. And he answered a little further down. So we waited a little bit, and I called again. And he answered back, and it sounded like he's closer. And I looked back at Dave, and I said, he's coming. And I shifted to aim at the direction the turkey was coming from, keeping that tree to my back so I wouldn't be silhouetted on the side, so I'd be facing him. And got ready. We waited quite a while, and we never had another gobble. So finally, we crept up to the edge of the ridge, and we're going to go right where the ridge drops down to a valley and back up another ridge, and we're going to call from there and see if we can get him to come out. But when we got over that crest, he was sitting on that far ridge watching for us. And in hindsight, looking at the setup, I think the first time he gobbled, he was in the valley. The second time he gobbled, he was up on the hill. And that's why he sounded closer, because it went over the valley. I think he just turned around and he was waiting. He wasn't going to come in. That was a smart old bird. The rest of the evening we spent driving around, glassing the public lands and Dave's farm. And we saw a lot of hens, a lot of jakes, and all the toms we saw were on private where we couldn't go. But in the evening, we're driving past Dave's again, and I spotted some turkeys on the edge of a field, and 3 of them were hens and 1 was a real big tom. But there's grass between me and the tom, and he was heading for a known roosting site on Dave's farm. It would really have been hard to get in between him and that roost, and I think if we pestered him, we'd have kicked him off the property or to roost someplace else. So the decision was made to let him roost there. And then we went back and we were talking to Crazy Greg, and Crazy Greg said, yeah, the farm I hunted had turkeys all over the place. I got a big tom, there's other big toms. They roost right there. I still got the tent set up. Why don't you go over there in the morning? And I don't like to leave a roosted bird unattended. I know that bird on Dave's farm I could kill. But I also know that Dave has a permit for next week. And he's got another later permit after that. So I don't really want to kill Dave's bird on him. So I kind of hee-hawed around. I said, yeah, I'll go out with you. And I thought really Crazy Greg's property could be okay. But I know it gets pressure. We went in there last year, ran into a guy in a blind, and a lot of hunter sign. So we went over there, got set up in the dark in Greg's spot, and no gobbling in the morning at all. I couldn't hear a gobble anywhere, not even from way distance. So it was kind of depressing. But I tried calling, and right away I called in a hen, big hen. And when she finally left, I called some more and I called another hen. Again with no tom. This was a small hen and she even had a little tiny beard. So she was legal. But I wasn't going to shoot her. See what I see?
I see you too.
Giant.
Yeah.
So then we gave up and I was tired and wanted to come back, get something to eat quick, and half the day was gone again. And I was going to hook up with Dave and we're going to go run around the public again. So we're on our way to my house and we go past this field that's private but it's adjacent to public, and it is full of turkeys and a couple real big toms. And I'm thinking, man, could we lure them to the side? And nah. And I go back to the house. So I get here and I'm waiting for Dave and it's just bothering me. Man, I wonder if they're heading towards that public. So I hop in the truck quick and I take a ride over there and I look, and sure enough, they're going the wrong way. They're going off where I was right in my first assessment, but that nagginess made me go look. So I turn around to come back to the house, and I'm driving and I go past the public land parking lot in a spot that just gets pounded. There's guys there all the time. There's guys there right now. There's guys there all the time. There's people that walk their dogs there. There's people that hunt there. Everybody parks there and hunts. I look up and right along the dirt road that takes you back there, the walking path, is a big tom all fanned out. I don't know if you can see the field back here, but public parking lot is right over there. And I was driving past looking for birds, and I never see birds up here because this area just gets pounded. But I just took a glance over here, giant tom on this hill, all fanned out. I was like, cool. So then I'm thinking, how the hell do you get them? Because the parking lot's right there within eye shot of the turkey. So I ended up parking about 3/4 of a mile down the road and jumping into deep swamp muck and briars and stuff, and doing this huge loop around and sneaking around and over the top of this ridge. And as I get to the tree, there's a hen coming past, and I don't know how she didn't see me, but I slid up to the tree, got my face mask on, and she walked right past. And as soon as she was past me, I hit the call, and the tom fired up on this side of the ridge, and I'm like, okay, here he comes. And he like triple gobbled, so I knew he was excited. And so I waited a couple minutes, hit it again, and he gobbled again, and then another double gobble. And he doesn't pop over the hill, and I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. So finally I hit it again, and he gobbles further away. I'm like, uh-oh. So wait a couple minutes, I hit it again, he don't gobble at all. Wait 5 minutes, hit the call again, he don't gobble at all. So I tried to slide over the top of the hill here, and I called Crazy Greg up. Crazy Greg lives right over there on the edge of the public land, and told him, get out of your house, walk across the street, and walk right down the street, down the middle of the fields, because there's crop fields here right on the public land. And the turkeys always run that if they're in here. I mean, it's a narrow stretch. So if he's over there, he's going to run back. So he started walking in, and I slid over the top of the hill. And when I got to the top of the hill, I noticed it was really windy on this side of the ridge. I wasn't getting that wind on the other side. And I think maybe he couldn't hear my calling, and maybe I couldn't hear him over the wind up high and over the hill. And I started wondering if he's right around here, but I thought, well, okay, I'll slip up to the first big tree I see, and I saw this big oak tree over here, and I went to slide up to it, and all of a sudden I see a head peek around a tree and go, give me the old eyeball. And I tried, it sounded like he wandered off, so I crept over the hill, and I was going to try and make it to this oak tree here. And I got to here, and I saw him start sneaking away, and well within range, so I shot him. Let's go see what we got. We're right next to, right there's the public land parking lot. It's amazing. Looked like a decent bird anyway. Got me another one. I contemplated not shooting it because I want to get one on film, but I really don't have a lot of spots to hunt outside of this public, so I took them. And I'm glad I did. It was a fun hunt. Got a nice bird, and well-earned public bird. All right. Now I get back at making videos. So I drove by on this road here. This is the public access right here. All the hunters walk right up this road, and there's boot prints everywhere from other hunters. And when I drove past, right in that little opening on that hill, where the road goes through, there's the Tom standing there. So what I did was I parked way down there. That's my truck, way down there. Went through that whole swamp down there and all the way around and set up just on the other side of that hill. And then that hen came over the top, and he was gobbling over here. And then I walked over that grass, popped in over there, and that's where I shot him. It was right behind that big willow tree on that ridge over there.